country.
A lot of Democrats are concerned about that as to whether you can win a general election. Again, this is New Hampshire. Who's most likely to win the general election? Again, they say Obama by a margin of 44 to 35. The Wall Street Journal and NBC News had a poll where we matched Clinton Huckabee, Obama Huckabee. And let me take you through that. Clinton is 46, Huckabee 44. Obama is 48, Huckabee's 32. And when you look at the independent voters, it's Clinton 35, Huckabee 46. Obama wins independents 40 to 35. Obama gets 20% of the Republican vote. Why is that? Why is there independents and Republican resistance to you?
You know, Tim, one thing I think everybody should have learned after New Hampshire is let's not pay so much attention to polls. You know, we need to let voters actually make up their minds, and voters who will see and judge each of us in the Democratic primary and then in the general election. You know, there are other polls we could put up done by other networks and other kinds of outlets that have different results. I don't pay much attention to any of that. I think that the fact is that we're taking our case to the American people. We're taking it on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis. And I'm very gratified by the positive response. But I didn't pay attention to polls before New Hampshire, and I'm not going to start paying attention to it after New Hampshire. Whoever is nominated, and it's likely to be either Senator Obama or myself, will get a fresh look by the people of America. We'll get an increased amount of questions about who we are and where we're from, because all of a sudden it becomes real. We've covered this for a long time. You know, when my husband ran in '92, he finally clinched the nomination in June in California. He was running third behind President Bush and behind Ross Perot. Others of our candidates on both sides of the aisle start out behind and wage a winning campaign. So I think what people who are concerned about electability should be looking at is, number one, who can be the best president from day one, who is prepared, who has taken tough positions, because you're going to have to take them. You know, Senator Obama voted present 130 times in the state Senate. When you're president, you can't vote present. You have to make a decision. Sometimes it's a split-second decision. You don't have time to, think about it. You've got to actually decide. So I'm going to take the case to the country as the nominee that I've been tested, I've been proven, I have the experience we need to make the changes we want, and I think that's a winning case at whomever the Republicans nominate.
In Iowa, you expressed concern that the time of the caucus prevented a lot of shift workers from voting. They were disenfranchised.
Right.
We may confront the same thing in Nevada. They have now scheduled the state party there to have caucuses at the place of work so that shift workers can show up. Many people, minorities particularly. Supporters of yours have filed a suit to try to stop having those caucus locations at the workplace. Do you support that suit?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's supporters of mine. There seems to be some misunderstanding about that. I was asked yesterday in Reno, the teachers union who brought the suit has not endorsed me. And so I think their concern is to have as many people participate as possible, which is certainly what it should be. This is now in the courts. The courts and the state party will have to work it out. But I don't want to disenfranchise anybody.
So why not drop the lawsuit and let people vote?
Well, that's up to the people who brought it. But Tim, as I understand it, there are a lot of people working at many places who won't be able to work. The places for doing the caucus are not at their workplace across the state. I mean, that's, the caucus idea is for neighbors to get together to argue and talk about their choices. The problem is that if you have a limited period of time, as I pointed out long before anything happened in Nevada, you're going to essentially leave people out who can't be there during those 1 to 2 hour period of time. And so I haven't read the lawsuit. The coverage of it seems to suggest that some people are saying, well, wait a minute, what about us? Those are not our workplaces. We have to be at work. How are we going to participate? It's up to the courts to work that out.
Doris Kearns Goodwin said, what's the biggest public adversity a person has ever faced? What's yours?
Well, I think we all know that. We lived through it, didn't we? And it's something that was very painful and very hurtful.
What did you learn from it?
Well, first of all, it is who I am as a person. I believe that you have to withstand whatever problems come your way. You have to make the decisions that are best for you. You're going to get a lot of advice coming from many different quarters to do things that don't feel right to you, that don't reflect who you are and what your values are. So you have to be grounded in who you are and what you believe. And you're not always going to make the right decisions, but you have to be guided by what you think is important, and that's what I've done.
Senator Clinton, we thank you very much for joining us here in South Carolina and sharing your views, and we'll see you Tuesday night in Nevada.
Thank you. Good to see you.
And we'll be right back.